Winding Wick Candles owner and creator Tiana Coates joins us to share more about her uniquely scented candles. Welcome to Texas today. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
These are so cool. I love them. And they smell.
Hello friends, it's been a while since I have made a video. Shame on me, but yeah, it's summer and we know candle season in the summer kind of slows down, so I haven't really been making as much content this summer. My son has been very busy with his little summer activities, camp, doing this and that, and honestly I have been busy doing some hobbies of my own this summer. I have a very random hobby that I've started doing, which I really am into, and it is trading on the stock market. I told you it was random. I've started learning day trading. I have not been using real money before, y'all. This is gambling. A lot of people's reaction when you talk about day trading on the stock market is it's gambling. I'm not even using real money. It's possible to learn how to day trade using fake money, which is what I'm doing. But yeah, I've been learning. Probably for the past 3 months, I have been learning all about the stock market. I've learned how to read candlesticks. I've learned how to do technical analysis. I've learned about support and resistance. I'm now learning about different like indicators that can help me with my strategy with day trading. I learned how to use all these different tools. Okay, so this is what I've been learning this summer, just recording this on my iPad. Today is my best trading day yet, with $356 with 2 trades. I only risked about $100, about $105 in total, $50 per trade, a little over 50. So 2 trades, and I'm gonna show you one of my trades, which was Tesla. So I traded Tesla and Rivian today. So Tesla has been kind of on the downtrend because of earnings, quarterly earnings and news. And so there really hasn't been a good day in Tesla in about a week and a half. So today was the first good day. So when they opened up, I saw it was very strong with these green bullish candles, meaning there are a lot of buyers. I didn't get in on this because it's very volatile during the opening. My strategy, I find it's better to wait for the pullback. And so that's exactly what I did. The pullback happened here. I got in here. I'm not sure what this candle is here because that is not on my trading view or anything like that. Not sure what that is, but this did not happen during my trading day. I don't know what that is. Anyways, so I got in here. My stop loss was here, so this was my $50 like loss. If I was wrong, I would lose $50 around here, and you can see I almost did lose, but I was really confident in this trade because of my strategy and looking at the price action for the day. This was just another pullback, a very strong pullback because of this opening. So I just, you know, sat here and I was like, okay, is this gonna go back up? And of course it did, just because of the price action that I was looking at. And then it kept going up and up and up, and then I got out around here once I saw these candles at this point. And then, you know, QQQ was starting to go down and all of that. So I exited here, and then the trade kept going up. I know it sounds like I'm talking like a lot of crazy stuff because this is exactly how it sounded when I first started learning, but I've been studying this for probably about 3.5, maybe 4 months, and today was my really good first day. So I know it sounds stupid, like all the stuff that I'm saying, you're like, okay, what is she talking about? But yeah, so I did another trade that was very similar to this on Rivian, and I risked 50 something dollars on that too. So that was my risk for today, and then this was the reward. And of course this is fake money. I'm still practicing so I can get a funded trader account, which is my goal. So hopefully I have more good days like this. But some other things that happened over the summer is I got featured on NBC. Yeah, NBC on the Today Show Texas. It's called the Texas Today Show. So that was really cool. And when I got, the executive producer reached out to me and they said they loved my brand and everything, and they wanted me to come out and do a segment with them. And I literally had like 4 days to prepare, but luckily she sent me all the questions and I kind of studied those you know, over the next few days. I went into the studio, and the first take we nailed it, and it was so easy. The host was really nice, and she was easy to talk to, so it made it easier for me. And what was also really cool is what you don't see on camera is that there's no camera crew, so all of the all of the cameras are robotic, so that made it a lot easier for me to do the interview. But anyways, I will link the full interview down below if you're interested. It was really nice, and I did get some really great sales. It aired on July 4th, which was really cool. So it was a fun 4th of July. I got to see myself in the morning on the news, and then we did our little fireworks family celebration on July 4th, which was really cool. So now I can say I've been featured on NBC, and I have that article saved so I can always go back and look at the interview. So that was a very cool, fun experience. And I did another event at Mercedes-Benz. That's another thing I did this summer. So it's not the dealership. So when I say Mercedes-Benz, it's not the dealership. It's actually like one of their corporate offices. So whenever they do events, like they'll do corporate events, and they'll have a few vendors in there. This is my second time doing an event with them. So I did the Juneteenth event with them, and it was a lot of fun, y'all. They're always so welcoming over there. And now they kind of, since this is my second time going, like they know me now. Like people that I've seen before, they'll come up and they rebought candles, and they were chatting with me more, and it was really fun. And I do have footage from that. So another reason why this vlog was late is because I had edited everything. Like I had footage of everything, but my SD card snapped. So now I just have to kind of compile whatever footage I have and, you know, photos I have, and just kind of tell you what I've been doing this summer. But that was a lot of fun too. I think I have video of that. They were doing like line dancing and stuff. It was really cool. And then what I really wanted to talk about was my experience doing my very first convention. And it was it's called Akon, and it's in Dallas, and it's an anime convention. And if you know anything about me, you've probably seen me wear anime shirts and stuff in my vlogs. But that was another fun thing we did, and I'll talk more about that in a second. And I've just really been focusing a lot more on just me stuff. I've also been focusing a lot more on health, because I have gained some weight since like the pandemic, and I just never really lost it. But yeah, I've been doing really good with the health tracking thing for the past couple weeks. Already lost a few pounds, been working out, loving that for me. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to this summer. A lot going on, but the main thing I wanted to talk about was Akon, because I found this to be so interesting. And it was a brand new experience for me as a candle seller, and I'm sure a lot of you guys want to hear it. I've already talked with my students in Candlebiz Academy about the A to Z of everything, but I just wanted to really come on here and talk about it too. So with Akon, I made $1,000 per day. $1,000 per day. It was a little over $1,000 per day. It was about $1,020 per day, because this was a 3-day event, and at the end of this event we had made $3,065 from a 3-day event. My very first convention. So let's talk about it and give you the rundown. So first of all, what is a convention? And I didn't look up the definition. This is just what I say a convention is, but it's a place where a fandom comes together. So when you think of Anime Con or Akon, this is a anime convention. So everyone who loves anime, if you're really into it, you're gonna go to Akon. And one thing people do is they cosplay and they buy artwork, and they go to all of the panels, and you can meet voice actors. You can learn different things, like, I don't know, if you wanted to learn how to draw, or if you wanted to, they have all sorts of different events during this time. So there's a lot of things to do for anime lovers, and there's different conventions for different things. Like if, you know, you're a Star Trek lover, there's going to be a Star Trek convention. You've probably heard of Comic-Con before, people who love comic books and stuff like that. So this particular one was Akon, and the reason I signed up for this is because I like anime, like I mentioned earlier. And so I was like, if I was going to do any convention, I think Akon would be it for me, because I've attended Akon before just as an attendee like 12 years ago, and I had a lot of fun there. So I kind of knew what Akon was, the rundown. I knew what Artist Alley was, which is what I applied for and got accepted to. And so I kind of had an idea of what to expect from Akon. So that's why I decided to do this one as my first convention. So let's talk about it. So Akon was $275 for all 3 days. So that was the total for all 3 days, and you get a 6-foot table. The application was jury based. So what this means is after all the applications come in, they're going to have a jury that decides who is best for this event. So I thought that another reason I applied, because I figured, okay, my candles I think would really fit this demographic, because I love anime and a lot of anime people love cutesy things. And I thought my brand kind of fit that. And I also made particular products for the demographic that I figured that they would like. So that did get me accepted into Akon. So that got me accepted into Akon, which I was extremely excited about. So we got accepted. So what does the application, what comes with that? So you get the table for 3 days. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. And I believe it was open from like 10 to 7. It was either 11 to 7 or 10 to 7 were the hours of the artist alley. It also comes with badges. So if you have a helper with you and you want to take a break, you are free to go do the other events. So I did not go into this event blind. I definitely looked up a lot of videos here on YouTube. There's a whole little community of people who are like full-time convention vendors, and they had so many helpful videos. So I was able to have a really amazing setup on my first go around just by researching all of these vendors. So I'm actually looking at a picture of my booth because again, my SD card got broken in half, so I don't have all my footage, but luckily I do have a picture that I can throw up and show you and kind of talk about Akon. So when I saw, okay, so one thing, if you do a convention, you want to have your booth set up finalized before you get there. So what we did is in the back of my storefront, we have this big table in the back, and we marked off 6 foot because 6 foot is what our booth space would allow, our table would allow. And throughout like a few weeks or so, I was just kind of, you know, setting up back there and changing things around, seeing what would work, seeing what's not working, and just, you know, messing with the whole setup until it finally was something that I thought would look good for Akon. So I'm looking at a picture and I'm going to kind of go through that with you. So let's start from the top. The reason I wanted height is because if you've ever gone to a convention, it's very crowded. So you have the vendors on facing each other, and it's a walkway, and then everyone walks through the middle and they kind of shop around. So if your setup is flat, it's gonna be really hard to see what you're selling. So my main thing that I was selling that I thought would fit with the demographic was boba candles. And so I made this banner. It was a very last minute decision, but I'm so glad I did it. So I made it with 2 bamboo sticks. I ripped them from my garden from my pea plants that were dying anyway. So what I did was I designed this whole thing in Canva, and I made sure to put a little anime character, and that's just something I got from Canva. And I just had boba candles because I figured while people were walking down the walkway, they would be able to see boba candles. Whether you could see me in the booth or not, you could see boba candles. So that was a really great decision because I observed that while people were, I can't talk right now, while people were walking, I would hear them say, ooh, boba candles, oh, what are those? So they were reading this sign. So I thought that was a really great last minute decision. Now, if we come down a bit, you can see I have this whole wire set up. And I'm gonna link the product down below and I'll put it up here what this is. But it's, again, I got this from watching all of the other convention vendors. But it's just like kind of wire shelves that are collapsible and they just fit in a box. Like they fit in a very small box. And I only bought 1 set. And throughout the month, I was just kind of switching the shelves around, switching the setup until I got to this final setup. So we had 3 shelves on each side that could fit about 4 candles. And mind you, I zip tied this. So make sure you use zip ties when you set this up because you don't want anything falling, anything coming out of the little grooves of the setup. So yeah, this worked very well and it was extremely sturdy. And then on the back where you do see like those little boxes above my head is more of the wire, again, zip tied. And yeah, so from here I had some hooks and this was like where I put all of the incense. Incense didn't sell too well. There was people who really loved incense and some who said they did not like incense, but it was a really great upsell. So the incense was there, and you can see also from the wire I hung a little like scanner, so if they had like Cash App or Venmo, they could pay with that also. So I had a little scan me, and then where my face is the opening, so where we could exchange goods and money. And then that little like wood looking shelf is kind of like where the checkout was. And then I had some wax melts off to the side, which the wax melts did extremely well. And what's really cool about those is I last minute redesigned the packaging, because I said, okay, we're going to an anime festival. When I look at the packaging of my wax melts currently, it doesn't scream anime, it doesn't scream cutesy, it doesn't fit the demographic. So I just redesigned it, and I got confirmation that that was a really good idea, because one lady, she's like, I don't even want wax melts, I just love the artwork on them. So these were my old just wax melts I already had formulas for, and I just redesigned packaging to fit the demographic. Those did very well, because there were some people who didn't really want to buy a candle, but they did buy wax melts. And then you can see underneath I just have my sorting candles and just some incense burners. And you can see I kept it very simple as far as what I brought for product. So I felt like this was a really nice clean setup, and there wasn't too much to look at. Like there wasn't overload of product, you know, it's very straight to the point. These are my best sellers and take it or leave it. So yeah, tablecloth was from Walmart, and behind the counter was just, I brought cash, we brought the iPad, and also our little square reader here. You can buy these at Best Buy, Square, and then my iPad also connected to Square, so it worked great. And then yeah, so that is all for the setup really. And then you can see I'm dressed up too. So we're gonna now talk about, so we talked about the setup, now we're gonna talk about making sales. And you can see I'm dressed up in this, because when you go to a convention you gotta dress up. So some of the vendors didn't dress up, some of them did. It really doesn't matter if you dress up or not, but I felt like, because I wanted to dress up regardless, I was gonna dress up. So I wanted to wear something that was comfortable, but you know, still cute. So I picked Sailor Moon, and I was like, okay, this is the most basic cosplay ever, but I still got a lot of attention, not a lot, but I still got attention from customers just from cosplaying, which was kind of neat. And people would, you know, compliment my outfit, or they would say, oh, I love, you know, they would just stop by my booth because I was cosplaying. And what's really cool is the voice actor from Sailor Jupiter, her mom saw me and she came right over, looked at all my stuff, and she's like, oh, my daughter is Sailor Jupiter, you know, I'm gonna bring her over. And she did, and they ended up buying stuff, which was really cool. So another thing that I think would help sales is just chatting anime. Some people, they came and they didn't even buy anything. We were just chatting anime, which was so cool. And I wish I had my footage from this. This, by the way, was the nicest group ever. Like anime group, the nicest group you will ever get. You know, when you get to connect with people, it's just rewarding, whether you make sales or not from that. So another thing I will say about making sales is to make sure you bring that cash. So we were, you know, we had our cash ready to go, but I was very shocked when people were like paying with cash. I'm like, why are so many people paying with cash? And I didn't catch on to this until Saturday, because the girl next to me, the vendor next to me, she seemed to be very experienced. She was actually there from Florida. So that's another thing. A lot of these vendors, they travel around the country, just because cons, if you're very good at them, they can be pretty lucrative for you. So I was eavesdropping, I was listening in, because I'm like, why are all these people bringing cash? And then I finally understood why. I'm not going to say it on this video. If someone says it in the comments, you might figure it out. But 1/3 of my sales were cash. So $1,000 out of the $3,000 were cash sales. So make sure you have cash on hand, because it is very common at conventions to use cash, which I learned. So that's another thing about making sales. I noticed one person next to me, she like ran out of cash because like so many people were buying with cash. And then also having a card reader too, that is going to help you a lot in these situations. So let's talk about my observations. Now, obviously this was a very successful event for us. We paid $275 for all 3 days, and we made all of our money back plus more. So this was a very successful event, and what I observed is a lot of these vendors travel. If you know what you're doing and you know the demographic, you can make really good money doing all over the country conventions. For me, I have a little boy, so that might be a little bit difficult according to your situation, but if you're able to, you can definitely just be a convention person and travel and just do conventions. So that is one observation I made. Another one is, what were the busiest days? So Friday is the first day of the convention, and that's the day where people who have all weekend badges, they come and they get their badges for the weekend. So there's, you know, Friday badges, Saturday, Sunday, and then you have the all weekend. So the people who are going to be there every day of the weekend. So that was probably the busiest day, was Friday, just because you have all of those people coming in, and the first stop really is going to be the artist alley, just because a lot of the events don't happen till Saturday, or, you know, in the evening Friday or whatever. So that was one of the busiest days. Saturday wasn't busy at all because that's where all the events were happening. So people were spending more time not at the artist alley. And Sunday was another busy day just because there wasn't as many events. The events really ended at 4, and so the rest of the time people were just shopping, and they kind of were scoping things out the whole weekend, and they made their final decisions on Sunday. So that's what I observed. So since we're local, we ended up coming back and making more candles on Friday and Saturday. So we were extremely tired. Cons can be extremely tiring. By Sunday, like all of us, you know, my neighbors and stuff were like, we are ready to go, because we were just like, we love making money, but we're just ready to go take a nap. It took me like a week to recover from that convention, but it was really rewarding experience. So another thing, you're asking what sales or promos did I have? I had 0 sales. My candles were full price. The only sale I had was the last 2 hours of the show. I had a I think buy 2 get 1 free, or was it buy 3 get 1 free on the wax melts. That's the only sale I had. Other than that, people were coming, and they were even, you know, hearing about the candles from other people. They were, you know, buying candles. Some people bought candles on Friday. They loved them so much they came back on Saturday and bought more candles. So I didn't really have to have any sales. And that's another thing about the convention, is I noticed that people were willing to pay the money for the products. They knew what they were coming for. I heard no complaints about prices. You know, sometimes you hear that, especially I've heard it sometimes in my storefront. People will say, oh, you know, that's a little too much for this and that. But when you're coming to a convention, especially when you're coming to Artist Alley, you know that these are handmade small businesses. So you're not really going to complain about prices. So people were willing to spend the money. I didn't have to run any sales on the products. All right, so what did I learn from this whole experience? Did I sign up for any more conventions? I did sign up for, well, I applied for a couple more conventions. I haven't heard back yet. These are more like winter, fall conventions, so I'm not quite sure, you know, what the deal is with that yet. But I did apply for some more conventions. We'll see if I get accepted. And some other things I learned was bring more product. I ran out of my bestseller on the second day, and I feel like I could have upped my income way more if I had more of the bestseller. I even had people coming back on Sunday asking for it, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I sold out of it. So bring a lot more of the bestseller is another thing that I observed. But overall, I had a really great experience with Akon. I definitely am going to be doing more conventions. I ran out of space on the card, but like I was saying, it was a really great experience, and I would definitely do another con again, hoping to get accepted into some more in the future. But let me know if you have any questions about conventions or anything like that. And thanks again for watching, and I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Bye.